Hope y'all packed a lunch.
Hey guys, Craig here from Craig's Game Room. Welcome back to building a full North American PlayStation Vita set. This is the biggest one yet, so that's kind of exciting. I have this many games, I didn't count. So we have quite a lot to go through. I'm sure there are going to be people that are like, wow, he spent a lot of money in a short amount of time. And I didn't. So I was a little paranoid, because every once in a while I get paranoid about just the state of collecting and things getting super expensive, and then I'm afraid of getting priced out of stuff. So what I actually did was I sold some stuff that it's not that I didn't like it anymore, it's that it's just games in my collection that I would have rathered not have than have more games in the Vita collection. Like I had the Dot Hack games on PS2, the Quadrilogy, Klonoa on PS1. Like, those are games that are expensive, but they're not impossible to get again if I wanted to. And they're already, in my opinion, at least from what I could tell, I think that those games are about as expensive as they're gonna get. Klonoa is not a $300 game. It really shouldn't be, in my opinion. And I think that I can get it for cheaper. And that's also a game that I got for insanely cheap along with the Dot Hack games, because a lot of stuff, I feel bad selling it unless I got it for way cheaper than what it's worth now, because a lot of games, as many other collectors will know, have gone up in price a lot over the last 2 years, mostly last year with the pandemic and all that stuff. So yeah, I sold a lot of stuff, and I went a little eBay happy to fund the Vita collection. And I know I said I didn't want to do that originally, but some of these games, it's just so hard to find them, especially like some of the early limited runs and things like. And there's one subset that I have here that I've only seen one game of once ever in person of all my years going to game stores. So I just kind of decided and did some speculating, and I was like, these are all probably going to be pretty expensive one day, and I'll show those off in a little bit. They won't be the first thing I show. But I don't really have a specific order this time, so we could just go ahead and get into it. But I do have some really good stuff in here, and quite a lot of holy grails, as they say, so it'll be fun to show those and talk about them a bit. So first up, a vanilla one, but Lego Marvel Superheroes Universe in Peril. So this one I actually had a loose cart for a really long time, and I just didn't even count it towards my collection because it was a loose cart. And I went to GameStop and I was like, hey, you got any Vita games? And they had one, and it just happened to be one I needed, so that's kind of nice to have and get it out of the way. I've heard this is actually the best Lego game on Vita too, so I'm probably going to play this one once I finish up what I'm playing right now. And next up, this is one I've been told, a lot of people say this game is super rare. And when I go on eBay and look, there's a lot of copies, so I don't really know if it's as rare as people think. Or maybe just a lot of people are selling it since it's kind of a filler title that is worth a decent amount, and that is F1 Formula 1 2011. This is a game also that's pretty uncommon on the 3DS. That was one of the last ones when I was going for the 3DS. That was one of the last ones I got for that set. So maybe it is, and people are just kind of unhauling it right now, since Vita's always been on decline since it's existed, pretty much. But yeah, I've been told that's a pretty uncommon one, so I was glad to get that a little under market value as well. Next up, we have Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate, which looks fairly interesting. I've heard this game is not that good, but I've actually slowly been becoming more of a Batman fan as time has gone on. My girlfriend Anastasia, who does my horror and monster movie podcast, Blood Monsters and Fears, if anyone wants to check that out, we're going to be bringing it back soon. She's a very big DC fan, not so much a Batman fan, but because Batman's so like heavily integrated into the DC universe, he's kind of just in everything, whether it be non-crossover comics or crossover comics and movies and stuff. So the idea of Batman's grown on me a lot. I still think he has a really cool cast of villains though, so I'll probably give this one a shot eventually. Next up, this is a game I used to have and I regrettably sold, and I purchased again recently. This is Child of Light. Fun fact, I'm pretty sure the Vita version is the only version I got a physical copy, which is cool. And this is a very excellent JRPG styled game made by Ubisoft, which is kind of weird because that doesn't seem like the kind of thing they would usually do. It's part of that Ubi Arts thing where it's kind of like their artsy-fartsy indie-ish kind of campaign that they do. I don't know if they still do that, but It is a very good game. This is one that I think a lot of people have slept on and they should play and give a shot. It's not too long, so if you don't like super long games but you like RPGs, it's a good place to jump in and try out the genre if you're new to it, because it has a very beautiful art style, very beautiful music. It's very good, very slept on game in my opinion. Alright, next two. I got these in a lot. I have no idea what either of them are about, I can't lie. They're both sealed. They both look interesting. They kind of just look like generic-ish RPGs. Maybe you guys could tell me if they're better than they look. But we have Defender's Quest, Valley of the Forgotten, and we have Ferns Gate. And all Ferns Gate says on the back is travel to the other side and beyond and find a way back home. So, it doesn't sound super unique, honestly, but I know a lot of people like Chemco games. This is a Chemco game, so I might bust this bad boy open one day and give it a shot, because I'm not going for a sealed Vita set. Some of the stuff, if it's like a super expensive or rare title, I might just keep sealed and just download it digitally if I want to give it a shot, since a lot of games, especially even on the horrible and insanely hard to search upon PlayStation Vita store on the actual system, a lot of the games I've noticed are just kind of cheaper now. Like, I have a couple of games in this pile that I want to play that are sealed, and because they're only like 10-20 bucks digitally, I might just get them digitally to keep them sealed, since some of them are on the rarer side. Next up, we have Terraria. So this is one game, this is the second copy I've gotten in the last couple of weeks. I had to return it because somebody sent me this and one other game that I'll be showing later, and they sent it with printed cover art, and they didn't say that was printed. And then when I asked for a return because it wasn't authentic on eBay, the person was a total dick about it. And I still got my money back, but they were really mad. They're like, that's why in the description I said to check the pictures for condition. I'm like, you can't. It was printed to trick somebody. So I didn't feel bad about it. And if you do that, you're a douchebag. Please verify. And also, that person was like, it wasn't just a random person. It was like someone selling a lot of games. So they were trying to be sleazy. So if for some reason, random seller, you're out there watching this, fuck you. Alright, next we have, I believe this is the last Code Realize game I needed, and this is Future Blessings. I'm gonna give this series a shot. I have a feeling that I'll like it, just based off of the artwork and the critical reception of all these games are pretty good. I just really have to be in the mood for visual novels, and it's been a while since I've been in the mood for one. And I've actually not finished Danganronpa 2, so I think if I'm gonna play a visual novel, that'll probably be the next one. The last one I played, I think, was, all the way through at least, was, Coffee? Or what was it, Coffee Talk? Let me look that up. Okay, yeah, so it was Coffee Talk. And Coffee Talk is an excellent game with pretty good world building. The characters are super interesting. The music is fantastic, especially if you love like lo-fi hip-hop and stuff like that, because I'm definitely one of those people. I would definitely recommend that if you're looking for a good visual novel. Other than that, the last visual novel I played was 2064 Read Only Memories. I didn't finish it. Didn't really catch me right away, which is surprising because I'm very into that cyberpunk kind of pixel art aesthetic, so I'm going to give it another shot eventually, probably when I inevitably get the Vita version. Alright, here's one I'm excited to play. I haven't played yet. And I got this for super cheap too, which is nice, because Thomas Was Alone. I know this is a puzzle game, and it is very critically acclaimed. I was the only bidder for this on eBay, so I think I got it for like 15 bucks plus shipping, which was really nice, because it's like a $30 game, I believe, complete. And it has the manual and everything, which is cool, because most Vita games also don't have manuals. It's just a very little, kind of like 3 or 4 page booklet, but anything's better than nothing. So, I believe Summon Night 6 is still the Vita game with the beefiest manual, so. And I used to have that, sadly, this one that I traded a while ago, so I need to get that again. Alright, next up. This is one I'm definitely going to bust open. I'm super excited to play this game, and this is Ray Gigant. It is a RPG with rhythm mechanics, which is my favorite thing ever. If you don't know, my favorite game of all time is Mother 3. So anything with RPG and like rhythm mixed together, because those are my two favorite genres, is something I'm going to be interested in. And this looks like a really cool game. And I've seen some gameplay. I actually discovered this one watching Eric Landon RPG, if you know him. So he puts out some really good videos. I enjoy what he does. And yeah, so this is probably pretty high up on my priority list in terms of Vita games I plan on playing soon. Alright, so let's get to that subset I said that I finished. So, we have Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1, Rebirth 2 Sister Generation, we have Rebirth 3 Victory Generation, we have Producing Perfection, or PP, we have Neptunia U Action Unleashed, Hyper Devotion Noir Goddess Blackheart, Mega Tag Mansion Blanc plus Neptune vs. Zombies, the longest name I believe, and lastly we have Super Dimension Neptune vs. Sega Hard Girls. So this is a series that I was talking about earlier where I said I was speculating that these games would be very expensive one day, and I think they will be. A lot of them are already pretty hard to find. Usually you'll find the like English American versions, but not the actual USA releases. And they're definitely not games for everybody. They're kind of guilty pleasure games. I have been playing the first one, and I'm actually really enjoying it. It's very funny. The premise is very interesting. The combat, I think, is pretty fun. For those of you that don't know, these games are basically a parody of just the game industry as a whole and the console wars. It's like there's 4 goddesses, and one represents Sega, one represents Nintendo, one represents Xbox and Microsoft, and one represents Sony and PlayStation. And it's very, very funny. The writing is very clever. There's a ton of super deep cuts and super niche references to random things. And it's at least the first game is about them battling piracy. The main villain is called R4, which, if you don't know, was like the big like kind of way, or it was like a card that you could put in your DS back in the day, and it was like the easiest way to basically pirate and play games illegally back then. So it's just one big parody. It's super funny. The writing is really funny. The voice acting is I think purposefully cheesy and very entertaining. The combat's cool because it's turn-based, but you're like in a big circle with what you're fighting, and everything is kind of position-based. So you can move everyone around, and you could hit from the side or the back to do more damage, or to the front if that's all you can reach. Different characters can shoot different distances for their attacks. If you have 2 characters close to each other, then the enemy can hurt both of your characters at once. Same with the enemies. It's really cool. I saw people online saying the combat wasn't fun. I think it's really neat. It's a little grind heavy, at least in my experience. I've been told if you're better at positioning that you don't have to grind as much, so maybe that's a me problem. But the games are very fun. I've been having a good time with them, about 15, 16 hours in. And I don't know if I'm going to play all of them, because obviously it's a lot, and over half of them are spin-offs. But I have played this, or I'm playing it now, and then I started but didn't finish Hyper Devotion Noir, which is a tactical turn-based RPG. And I'm a very big Fire Emblem fan, so I enjoyed what I played of that as well. I'll probably go back to that once I finish the main game. I just didn't want to get too deep into a spin-off without playing the real game to make sure if there's much source material I need, I had it. For other people going for the set, the ones I would say definitely look out for the most are Rebirth 2, Rebirth 3, and Sega Hard Girls, because those seem to be the hardest to find in my experience. I got this copy. This is the other one besides Terraria that I got, and it was a printed cover, which was a bummer, so I got a refund on that. And then the only other copy was a new copy, so it was more, but at least I have it now. I'll probably keep this one sealed just because it's pretty hard to find, and it's only like, I think, $15 in the PlayStation store. But yeah, so if you like kind of like niche anime games, or just funny games, this is one I would suggest. It does have a bit of fan service. It's not over the top. It's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be from what people make it out to be. And if it didn't have the fan service, it would probably be even better, honestly, because most of the time it seems kind of ham-fisted in. But an interesting series. Not a lot of people talk about it. I never hear RPG people and fans talk about it. And maybe I don't know, maybe I have bad taste for liking it. But yeah, an interesting series. And also, Sega Hard Girls is apparently another thing that Sega does where they turn their consoles into cute anime girls, which is kind of funny just because who would have thought that two people would be doing that. But yeah, definitely I would say at least give the first game a shot. From what I've heard, is on sale on Steam all the time for like dirt cheap, so can't hurt for very cheap. All right, next up we have Lego Batman 3. So another Lego game down. I've also heard this is a really good Lego game for the Vita, so I'll probably pop this bad boy open. It was like, I think like $8 shipped brand new, so this game is practically worthless. But another game down for the set, so I'm not going to complain. But next up, we have a pretty significant limited run game. We have Saturday Morning RPG. This one I was excited because I got this. This is a new copy, and it was cheaper than any of the open copies or other new copies on there. I think it was like $50, which is a pretty good price for that. And it was sitting there for a little while, so I'm surprised I got lucky with that. This game looks pretty fun. It seems to be kind of just whatever, you know, like normal, standard RPG fare, but I've heard pretty good things about it. It looks, I mean, assuming based off the cover art, it seems to be a bit of a parody too. Like that guy kind of looks like Cobra Commander, and same with the art kind of looking G.I. Joe-ish. So I'll probably download it though, just for the sake of keeping this one sealed. This is also a game made by Mighty Rabbit, which is the company that I don't know if it's like limited run or they own it or something, but this is the second Vita, or at least they did, so pretty cool to have that. Next up, another limited run. This is going to be Mystery Chronicles One-Way Hero. This one also looks interesting. It's auto-scroller RPG, which I don't really know how that would work, but I'm definitely going to try this one out because that just sounds super interesting. Since I'm such a big RPG fan, I feel like I run into a lot of the same game over and over again, which isn't bad. I enjoy it, but I get more excited when I come across a good amount of variety. So whenever I see it's like something meets RPG or JRPG, I'm usually down to try it just to see what it has in store for me. All right, next two. These are both from V-Blank. They are Retro City Rampage DX and Shakedown Hawaii. So these are games I've always been interested in playing, but I haven't played yet. I believe Shakedown Hawaii has a PlayStation 5 version now, which is pretty cool. And they seem to be like very Grand Theft Auto-y, like kind of classic PlayStation 1 Grand Theft Autos. So I'm interested in giving them a shot. Next up, let's knock out these last two Lego games, because of course there's two more Lego games. We got Lego The Hobbit and Lego Lord of the Rings. I've been on a Lord of the Rings kick lately. I've been wanting to rewatch the movies again. I've actually never watched the Hobbit movies. I probably should, but I know a lot of people dislike them, so I'm kind of not in a rush. But I thought about trying Lego Lord of the Rings to kind of get my fill on that. And then I heard that this was a really bad port, and it makes me kind of sad. So I'll maybe play this on the PS3 or something instead. But yeah, Lord of the Rings is great. So, and The Hobbit. We're down to the last six. So we have God Wars Future Past. I know nothing about this game. It was like $15. But it looks pretty interesting. It seems to be kind of really just kind of another standard JRPG fare, but that's never a complaint from me. I like the art style a lot. NAS America usually puts out pretty good stuff. I don't know Karakawa Games. If any of you guys know anything about them, feel free to comment and maybe let me know if they've done any other good work. God Wars, I feel like that's an anime too, but I might be mixing it up with something else, maybe God Eater or something. But yeah, so a good sizable chunk of stuff we've got here. So next to we have, these are download codes, but I personally count them because they came in retail cases. If you don't count them, I understand. This is just kind of personal preference, just like how some people don't count all mid-run games. But we got Minecraft and MLB The Show 15. So I did not sadly get it for $6, but I did get it for definitely under brand new price, which was exciting. I would have even gotten it open if it still had the download code in there, since that's all it really is. And Minecraft, I haven't been able to find an open box for that. Otherwise, I would have as well. Because I don't know about this one, but I know the Minecraft one, the code is expired. So sadly, I can't even use it to download it. I love Minecraft. It's like a top 10 game of all time for me. It's like the ultimate comfort game. Nothing makes me feel more relaxed than playing Minecraft and just kind of zoning out. And MLB The Show is just kind of interesting, especially since it was first party Sony. I would assume it's the best one on the Vita since it was the last recent one it got, but it's just a shame. Sony killed the Vita way too early. Alright, so the last three. These are... I almost broke my back carrying these over to the desk because of how heavy they are. Okay, that was a terrible joke. Alright, so I'm gonna save what I think is the rarest for last in terms of, like, the last game I have, I would argue, is like top 3 rarest for the North American set. So I'll say it's not our New Swords Plus, I believe that's how you say it, or Rose and Twilight, because I think those are the other two. So if you want to guess who it is, don't cheat, put your comment down below, and I'll give you a nice heart comment if you enjoy it, or if you're right. And then these other two are just very desirable games. So here we have New and Tasty Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, which is super exciting. If you don't know, I'm a massive Oddworld fan. The first 2 Oddworlds I actually played as a child, and I played them endlessly. I 100%ed them over and over again. I would always get the good endings. I loved these games, especially Abe's Exodus, and I kind of wish that we would get a remake of that too, because I know we're getting Soulstorm, but as far as I know, it's going to be fairly different. But this is an excellent remake. They changed a lot, but they kept a lot the same, if that makes sense. And it's just an excellent game. The Oddworld games are one of a kind. Lauren Lanning is a fucking genius. I love that man. I watched a 3-hour interview with him the other day, believe it or not. Not in one sitting, on and off, but he's just so interesting, and his creative process is so cool, and it puts out godlike games like this one. If you have not played New and Tasty, get it. I promise you won't regret it. If you have a PlayStation 5, the new game is going to be free next month, so a good time to give it a shot and see if you like it, because as far as I know, it's a really cheap game as well. So, alright. Second to last, we have Breach and Clear. I've heard this game is pretty bad, but it has a lot of historical relevance to the Vita, especially since it was the first limited run game, another Mighty Rabbit game, and this is kind of what kept the Vita alive for a while, you know? This company doing this, love it or hate it, limited run did a lot for the physical Vita market and just the Vita collecting market. I'm still gonna try this one day, just because it's a tactics game. I might like it, might be bland, but I would consider this a, like I said, historically relevant game for the system. So it's very important, if nothing else for that. All right, last one, last moment to get your guesses in for what I consider top 3 rare games for the Vita, and that is Epic Mickey 2, Power of 2. You're probably thinking, what? Some of you are probably thinking, why? Some of you are probably thinking, when the hell did this get a North American release? And those are all valid questions. So this is a weird one. From my research, it was a Mexico exclusive, which definitely seems to check out because I've never seen it without the Spanish ESRB rating. It was, from what I have been able to find out, it was only a pack-in with Vita systems at the time, so you could assume it's very, very low just because of that. It was only packaged with systems. When did this come out? Let's see. 2013. So, not late at all into the Vita's life cycle. But the fact that it only got released there is kind of just what makes it super hard, especially since it was only bundled in with systems. And for whatever reason, it never got released any other way in North American territories, and it's just super hard to find and super expensive. So definitely look out for this if you can. I feel like this is one that a lot of people wouldn't think to be super rare expensive because it's a Disney game. Not every other console is insanely cheap, and yeah, so this is a hard one to find. Definitely try to score this if you can. And yeah, so this is the 1, 2, this is one of the Vita games as far as I'm concerned. So definitely look for Epic Mickey 2 if you can. And that's it. That's all of the games I've gotten since the last video. It's going to be quite a long time until I get any more, because the only reason I even bought all these was because I sold other stuff to fund towards it. But I'm happy. I'm very happy with where the Vita collection is and how much it has grown in the last year. It's a system I adore. It's definitely top 3 systems for me of all time now. The more I play it, mess around with it, it's special. And I understand why there's such a strong, loving community for it. People are still doing stuff with it today. Every once in a while, we still get new games, which is nice, but there's an excellent backlog of games. Yeah, I love it. It's excellent, and I think everybody needs to give their Vita a little bit more love if they have one. If you have it sitting in your drawer somewhere, dust it off. You know, give it some love. Dust it off. Give it a kiss. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. This, like I said, will be the last one for a while. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or critiques, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. If you have any information about any of the games I said I wasn't super knowledgeable about, feel free to let me know. Maybe it'll be something I prioritize more. After I finish Hyperdimension Neptunia, I'm probably going to move on to Ray Guy again, but I'm not sure if there's another one in there that you're like, nah, Craig, this game's way better and you have it, play that first. Let me know. And I don't know, I like this community. There's a small following for these videos, and that's kind of nice too, so I appreciate you all watching. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Take care.